watching Dontaesboxingnation!
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So yeah, it was only a couple days ago that Bob Arum, he finally came out and announced the projected numbers that the Pacquiao versus Bradley 2 fight did. Now, before this fight took place, Bob Arum, he had projected the numbers to be around 1.2 million when it comes to pay-per-view buys. Those were the numbers that he expected to get from this fight. After finding out the pay-per-view numbers didn't come close to 1.2 million, now Bob Arum is forced to declare the pay-per-view numbers as a disappointment for Manny Pacquiao. Let me ask you guys a question. And I'm talking to the Manny Pacquiao fans and the Floyd Mayweather detractors, the people who can't stand Floyd Mayweather. I want you to be honest with yourself. It doesn't matter what you type or what you post. I want you to be honest with yourself when I ask you this question. If I were to tell you right now that Manny Pacquiao does not do the pay-per-view numbers that Floyd Mayweather does, and the pay-per-view numbers that he just generated against Tim Bradley in a rematch, the numbers was a disappointment. Now, if I were to say that, you guys would call me a hater, right? But what about when Bob Arum says it? Manny Pacquiao's own promoter, what about when he says it? Is he hating on his own fighter? We know that's not the case, right? If I were to tell you that Manny Pacquiao is to blame for the very first fight never taking place between him and Floyd Mayweather 4 years ago, because Floyd Mayweather actually signed the contract to fight Manny Pacquiao. You guys didn't know that, did you? Floyd signed the contract. It was Manny Pacquiao who did not sign the contract, okay? Now, if I were to tell you that it was Manny Pacquiao's fault that the fight never took place, you would say, oh, you're just hating. You're just a Mayweather fan. You're just a hater on Manny Pacquiao, and so on and so forth, and any other thing that you could come up with, right? So what about Freddie Roach? Freddie Roach, he admitted that it was their fault that the first fight never took place. So is he a Manny Pacquiao hater? Is Freddie Roach a Mayweather fan? You see how it doesn't make sense? This is the reason why, honestly, it doesn't bother me if you say, oh, you're a hater. Oh, you know, you're just this and you're that, calling me all type of names. Once again, you could call me whatever you want to call me, but you will not call me a liar. And that is a fact, because I'm speaking the whole truth. The truth may not be something you want to hear, but it is the truth. And let me tell you something else about the truth. The truth will always exceed ignorance. It will always exceed ignorance. And the more you speak without truth, like Bob Arum often does, the more you make Manny Pacquiao look bad, and the more you make yourself, Bob Arum, look bad as well. Bob Arum would go on to try to make excuses that make no sense why Manny Pacquiao's numbers are so bad. He blamed it on Manny Pacquiao not having a Latino opponent, and then he also basically suggested that it was because Manny Pacquiao was up against a black fighter and they couldn't really generate a fan base to support Tim Bradley. Now, I can go into so many different directions proving Bob Arum wrong. The first thing I would like to bring up is if Bob Arum truly believed that this fight wasn't going to be a success because Manny Pacquiao was fighting against a black fighter and he wasn't fighting against a Latino fighter, if that was the case, Bob Arum would have never expected this fight to be 1.2 million buys, right? I mean, just think about it. We just seen Manny Pacquiao fight against a Latino opponent, a Mexican opponent, which was Brandon Rios, and Manny Pacquiao did his worst numbers. He didn't even do 500,000 buys, all right? So we know that Bob Arum is not making any sense with what he says. He's scrambling to come up with an excuse because he doesn't want to reveal the truth, which is Manny Pacquiao is just no longer a big pay-per-view attraction. Don't get me wrong. 800,000 to 750,000 pay-per-view buys, it is a success. But in contrast to Floyd Mayweather, it is a disappointment. It is a failure, to say the least. Let me hit you guys with some more facts that you probably didn't know when it comes to Floyd Mayweather in contrast to Manny Pacquiao. Did you guys know that Floyd Mayweather, he was guaranteed $32 million, or a little bit more than that, up front. Okay? So that means that money already went to his account. That's what he got up front, $32 million. But once all the pay-per-view revenue goes in, Floyd Mayweather is projected to make $70 million just for one fight. All right? Do you guys know how much money Bob Arum has gave Manny Pacquiao so far to this day? You know how much money he has so far for this Bradley fight? He has $6 million. That is it. He has $6 million, and Manny Pacquiao, or excuse me, Bob Arum, is basically supposed to give him increments of the remaining money that he owes him. But once again, Floyd Mayweather, $32 million up front. Manny Pacquiao, $6 million up front. After revenue and pay-per-view go through, Floyd Mayweather, at a minimum, $65 to $70 million. Manny Pacquiao, at a minimum, probably about $15 to $20 million. So now I go back to the $40 million that was offered to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao fans, can you be serious with yourself? Like I said, it's a difference between what you know in your heart and what you type on the internet. I want you to give me the answer from your heart. You ain't got to tell nobody what you really believe, but I just want you to really think about what I'm saying right now. Does it make sense for Manny Pacquiao to turn down $40 million after I just gave you a factual math breakdown of what both of these fighters are worth? Is it stupid to turn down the $40 million? You know deep down in your heart, the answer would be yes. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you type. You know deep down in your heart, if your ass went to school, even if you wasn't that good in math, even if you made it to damn near the 8th grade only, your math should be good enough to know that it was stupid for Manny Pacquiao to turn down that $40 million. It made no sense at all. Like I've said in many videos before, if you guys truly believe that Manny Pacquiao could have beat Floyd Mayweather, then that makes it even more stupid that he turned down the money. Why? Because see, now I could understand if you didn't think that Pacquiao would win the fight. If you didn't think that Pacquiao would win the fight, then, I mean, it'll still be stupid, but at least there's more to lose for Manny Pacquiao, okay? Because if you believe that Manny Pacquiao will go in there and lose to Floyd Mayweather and his career will pretty much be over with, then that would mean that Manny Pacquiao is cashing out for a cool $40 million. Now, like I said, the only reason you guys would have a problem with that scenario is if you were basically saying, look, I think Mayweather is going to beat my guy Manny, but hell, if Manny is going to cash out and get his ass whooped, I think he should get $60 million or whatever the case may be, all right? But if you truly believe that Manny Pacquiao can beat Floyd Mayweather, then it was absolutely stupid for him to turn down the $40 million. Because if Manny Pacquiao would have beat Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao would have been worth more money than Floyd Mayweather. And if they were to have a rematch, then Manny Pacquiao, he could dictate the terms on finances because he won the fight. All right? So at the end of the day, this doesn't have anything to do with all this emotional talk. All this emotional talk, you're a hater and this and that. That's nothing but emotional fan talk. What it really comes down to is what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. That's all this comes down to. Floyd Mayweather is about to make $70 million and Manny Pacquiao is projected to make $20 million. And you're going to tell me it made sense for him not to take $40 million up front? Come on, man. Come on. So anyway, let me go back to Bob Arum and him trying to pull the race card to justify why Manny Pacquiao numbers were very disappointing. Like I told you guys before, Bob Arum, he already put it on record that he expected this fight to do at least 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. Now, I already know some of you guys are going to say, well, Bob Arum, he's going to say whatever he can say to promote the fight and drum up the anticipation for the fight, right? You would think that would be something that Bob Arum would do, but no, Bob Arum is not that type of person, because if you go back to the Guillermo Rigondeaux situation, Bob Arum, he was down selling the fight before it even came to fruition, the fight, that is, right? He was telling people up front, it's going to be hard to, to sell this guy. The pay-per-view numbers or the views are going to be bad and this and that. He was saying that before the fight. So if he tells people before a Pacquiao-Bradley fight that these Pacquiao-Bradley numbers are going to be at least 1.2 million, that means he truly believed that this Pacquiao-Bradley fight had the potential to generate those numbers. And it's really silly for Bob Arum to insinuate that black fighters don't generate pay-per-view monies or etc., especially when you consider the fact that Bob Arum has been in the business for so long. Bob Arum was there when Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier broke all records. Bob Arum was around when Mike Tyson versus Holyfield broke all kind of pay-per-view numbers. There was a time, realistically, where the only people who had the records for the highest pay-per-view attractions were black fighters, all right? That's not to suggest that black fighters generate more than anyone else. This has, realistically, it doesn't really have anything to do with race when it comes to who can be a pay-per-view star. De La Hoya proved that, he's Mexican. Floyd Mayweather, he proved that, he's black. And even though Manny Pacquiao doesn't do the same numbers, he proves, being Filipino, that you don't have to be black or Mexican to be a pay-per-view attraction. You could be any race. As long as you have the skill, you keep winning. Or maybe you come from a country where they never had a world champion, so now they're all following you. There's many different reasons why you can become a pay-per-view star. Even when it comes to fighters like Floyd Mayweather or Muhammad Ali, that were hated a lot when they were fighting. Now, as crazy as this may sound, that hate towards these fighters, it actually turns into an advantage for these fighters. Why? Because as long as these fighters keep winning and keep fighting guys that are the fans' favorites, then people will continue to watch these guys fight because they want to see them lose. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to be all people that want to see them lose. You're going to have a lot of people that's going to want to see them win, and eventually the hate starts to gradually transform into love. That's what we've seen happen with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was hated way more than Floyd Mayweather was or is. But now everyone loves Muhammad Ali. Matter of fact, Muhammad Ali is the largest iconic figure on the planet. Top 3. The most loved man on the entire planet. Now, when you look at Floyd Mayweather and you notice, I don't know if you guys are noticing the transformation. There used to be, excessive hate. Now, if you guys watched, if you noticed in the Mayweather versus Maidana fight, there was strong chants of USA. Throughout the whole night, it was strong chants of USA. And it's, kind of sad when you think about the fact that, Floyd Mayweather, all-American in his own country, and it took so long for us to support our own people, our own countrymen out here in America, but it's here now. And it just once again shows you the transformation, when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. Once again, if you keep winning, you will not be denied eventually. Okay? Because what happens is people will hate and they'll say, oh, he only won for this reason. He only won for this reason. Okay, well, he ain't gonna get past this guy, and then he gets past that guy. And then eventually you start to say, you know what, man, I'm gonna have to start being honest with myself. This man is good. I mean, I don't like him. I can't stand his damn guts, but man, he's good. And that's what's starting to happen right now. The honesty is starting to come out when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. So for you Manny Pacquiao fans and you Mayweather detractors who ask the question, why are you talking so good about Mayweather, but you talk so negative about Manny Pacquiao? I want the Pacquiao fans to understand this. The reason why I tell you the truth about Manny Pacquiao, it's because you guys, over the years, since we've been introduced, when I say we, I mean we boxing fans, since we've been introduced to the new Pacquiao fans over the last 4 years, you guys have brought nothing but ignorance and confusion. Not all of them, But the majority of them have brought this type of ignorance to the sport of boxing when it comes to talking about boxing. So you spew all of this ignorant hate and all kind of other stuff on the internet and blogs, and now what happens is the truth is coming out, and the truth is exposing all of the ignorant messages that you guys have been posting for 4 years. So that's the answer. That's the reason why people like me and hundreds of other boxing reporters on many different websites, they report the news, and they tell you about Manny Pacquiao's poor numbers. They tell you about Manny Pacquiao's tax problems. They tell you about Pacquiao, how he lost to Marquez, and etc., etc. Whatever else news comes out, I report it, and I speak the whole truth when I report it. Like I said, once again, when you hear someone saying you're being a hater, all he's telling me, he's just saying, Dante, why do you have to tell the truth when it doesn't benefit my guy? I'm telling you the truth the same reason Nacho Beristain tells you the truth. The same reason Juan Marquez, Sergio Martinez, Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, Shane Mosley, Ricky Hatton, Paulie Malignaggi, the list goes on and on and on of guys that have corroborated every single thing you hear me say about Floyd Mayweather as opposed to Manny Pacquiao. We've heard Marquez and Brandon Rios say right in front of Manny Pacquiao's face, oh, Floyd Mayweather would beat you. Floyd Mayweather is a much better fighter. So does that mean that Brandon Rios is a Manny Pacquiao hater? He's a number one Mayweather fan, and he's jocking Mayweather, riding his dick, and all that other crazy ass talk? Is that what that means? When some of you fans start playing a race card and saying, oh, you're just saying that because you're black? What about Brandon Rios? What about Marquez and everybody else that I just named? The majority of those guys, they weren't even black. So how do you explain that? You play the race card because you are emotionally attached. And once someone makes so much sense, you have no rebuttal. You can't come back with any type of boxing facts to object to anything that I'm saying. So all you can really do is come back with some personal offense, which basically is a form of submission. I'm on to the next one.